Selena, I'm so excited to have you on Ignited Conversations with Sue G, which is me. Just for everyone out there who doesn't know you, Selena is a business coach. She is also a certified NLP practitioner. And I love that you combine both your all the learnings you've had in business coaching and all the things you've learned in NLP practitioner training and how you marry them up. You are also the host of Inner Business Podcast, and I've been on there. Thank you for having me on there. And it's a great podcast to listen to. You've got really great guests that come on with valuable advice. You are a former high school English and drama teacher. You went from that to EdTech founder, which is Edufolio, right?
Yeah. That was the business.
Yeah. And you went from that to coach. So you've had this beautiful journey. So you help women in business, you help them align their inner world with their outer world, their inner world with their desires and their strategies. And you help them get clarity and bring that together to create the magic that is them and their business.
Yes.
So welcome. Selena, just take me from teacher to then businesswoman. How did that happen for you?
Well, at that time, that probably only happened because of a limiting belief of people pleasing. That's actually the truth. So thank you, limiting belief.
Got to have some value, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. I believe everything that happens in our lives is part of a beautiful woven fabric, right? So I always find this quite entertaining, but in a really kind of powerful way. So I was an English teacher. I'd moved here and migrated here from the UK. And in the UK, we were very much in a place of constantly being watched and being assessed. And every year I would be graded as a teacher and given a label. And if it was satisfactory, that was considered very, very worrying. Like it had to be very good or outstanding. And it was a lot of pressure. And when I came to Australia, there was none of that. And it was like, oh, get on with my job. And then the teaching standards came in. And me being me, as those of you who know me will understand, I was like, alarm bells, got to fix that before that becomes a problem.
And we did talk about that today too. Oh, yes, there's a problem. Let me fix it.
Let me fix it for everyone. What happened there was I actually invented something because I was done with doing all the paperwork. I thought it was pointless and useless, and I wanted to make it mean something to my students. So I created this piece of software with my husband, who's a full stack developer, and using WordPress, something really simple, to help me do the paperwork. And then it turned out other teachers were like, oh, that's cool. I have that. And to start with, it was pizza money. It was just like we'd sell it for like $25 and we'd be like, oh, we can have pizza tonight. Back when, that was a couple of pizzas actually back then. Wasn't even just one. And then eventually a school came to us and asked us for it for all their teachers. So we had to change the business model. So because I kept saying, yeah, sure, we can do that, and then working it out later, I ended up with this brilliant national business. And it was a real journey because the only experience I'd had as a business was my dad being an entrepreneur and earning like, I don't know, £2.50 an hour when I was a teenager doing really rubbish tasks for him so he didn't have to hire a VA, and watching a TV show called Silicon Valley, which I'm very grateful for because all of the things like ARR, MRR, all that, the only reason I knew what that was because of this comedy series set in Silicon Valley. So that was it. And it was quite the journey. And I ended up traveling to the US, winning national competitions as most promising startup. I met some amazing people. I'll never forget, I always talk about this, having the former marketing head of L'Oreal working with me on my website. Like, my gosh, it was cool. But also like, I don't know why I'm here, but everyone's going to find out in a minute I'm not supposed to be here, but I'll just keep smiling and I'll just keep doing it, which is why I didn't do it. In the end, I stopped because I was working on myself, working with you, Sue, as well, and realizing that I'd built this business around this. Yes, of course, I can do that. Yes, of course. And I had created this, I think I used to call it the albatross. God love it, because it didn't feel like me. And in order to get it to grow to the next level, the way I was building it would have required me to go somewhere I didn't want to go. And I
Yeah.
had this big realization. And I feel like that happens a lot in life. In we call it the tower card moment. It wasn't too huge, on the outside, but it's like you suddenly realize, I think I was disassociated in the moment. Like I was sharing, I think, the mission statement of the business,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was disassociated and was watching myself going, no, no, I don't want to do that. What? Ew. And
Which is
I was
really,
like,
really, which is really interesting because you talk about aligning the, inner
mm,
and the outer, right?
yes,
Which is what you help women do
exactly
now.
right.
Um,
Yes.
and I'm going to go back a little bit because you said you were a teacher and then there was like, oh, we could do this to fix this problem. So it wasn't even like, oh, I'm going to create a business and I'm going to do all these things and I've got to be on social media and I've got to do a website and I've got like it just started.
Yeah.
And then somebody saw it and went, oh, we love this. And then it grew, right?
Yeah. And then we put our hat in the ring for things. We were like,
Yeah,
oh, we need some funding. Let's just do this. And I never thought I'd get picked because I didn't really believe, but I did believe in the mission that I was on. And I believed really passionately about allowing educators to really understand the impact and the difference they were having, because there's not a lot of that that goes on, sadly. And that was what was driving me. And I was incredibly passionate about that. And that is a really powerful tool. The energy behind that was attracting things into it,
yeah,
which was really, really brilliant. That allowed me to learn a whole heap of stuff about business, and I was able to build this business with support, but then what I built wasn't really what I wanted. I ended
yeah,
up following the advice and doing what I needed to do to get to this, KPI. And along the way, I lost the reasoning behind it and the alignment with
correct,
myself. And
correct.
that experience was so powerful. I learned so much about the real deep connection between self and business and your relationship with it. Like I genuinely had this massive understanding that your business is the mirror. And like all relationships are a mirror, right? Whether that's your partner, your friends, your children. But
Yeah,
the good thing about a business, and I always say this, is it is not a sentient being, which means you can't blame it. You can't say, bloody business, can't believe it spoke to me like that, rah, 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 how dare it? Because you're leading the business. So all it does is it's like a perfect mirror reflecting back to you the things that your unconscious mind would really love you to talk about now.
yeah.
Like our unconscious mind holds on to things until it's ready. And then when it feels safe, it serves them up as mild to extreme discomfort, depending on how well I'm listening. That's my experience. I
And
try to get a mild discomfort these days.
and I love that you said, because this is exactly what happened for you. While you were having fun and it was this thing that you were passionate about and you were just doing your own thing. There wasn't, some guru's formula that you were following. It was just you and Matt and you were doing your thing. And then people wanted you and you threw your hat in for the grants. And then suddenly you've grown to this size now where you said, now people are going to find out.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So the
I'm just
imposter
making it up.
syndrome, right? So while you were
Yeah.
thinking about it, that wasn't there. But all of a
No.
sudden, now you're like I'm in the big league. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things are getting serious. Any
Yeah.
minute now, they're going to realize that I don't know what I'm doing. And the silly thing is, that didn't really matter because I was learning and I was growing so quickly with it that
Yeah.
I was always enough steps ahead. And I was always good at finding the people that needed to help me get to the next stage. I think we forget that everybody starts somewhere in business and everybody has that moment where they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, how did this
Yeah.
happen? That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes.
And there were just so many fantastic lessons that I learned from that,
Yeah.
that I've taken forward and
Yeah.
continued. Even my current business likes to teach me lessons. I spent a couple of hours with you this morning discussing some of the current lessons my business is teaching me. It's like my way of being now. I really can't stop.
Yes. Um, and that is the reality. Like I know that for me, every time I was promoted to the next thing in my career,
Mm.
I'd be excited because my passion and what I believed in would take me there. And then once I'm there and I'm doing it, all of a sudden this little thought would creep in of, oh my gosh, they're going to actually find out that I don't really know what I'm doing. Now,
Yeah.
the reality is that clearly I
Who
did know what I
does?
was doing, but I did know what I was doing enough to get me to the next level. And
Yeah.
I was always learning.
Well,
So,
that's it. When you hit that, in order to get through the ceiling, you have to have that moment of like, okay,
yeah,
sure, there's always that moment. And if you
yeah,
stay below that constantly because you're afraid of people finding out you don't know what you're doing, then you won't ever get to experience the next level.
correct.
That's the truth of it, really.
It is.
There has
And
to
then
be that
once we
discomfort.
move through that, you go, oh, I'm competent. It's that whole don't know what I do
Yes.
know,
Yes. Yes.
and that, whole incompetent.
Unconscious competence and then conscious competence eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we need to journey through that to
We
get to
do.
that unconscious competence from unconscious incompetence, right? So
Yeah.
as we move through it, we expand and we grow, and our nervous system does settle
Yes.
as long as we can settle the conversation that's going on in our head, right?
Yeah, and give ourselves some grace, Like I think now when those moments come up, it's like, oh, cool, I must have hit a threshold. Cool, go me. Like let's celebrate that and let's get curious and see what happens. A bit like what you did today when you tried to go live on Facebook. You're like, this is gonna be really weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's just see what happens.
Eventually that video will drop right down in the feed.
You can delete it if you want. No one needs to know. Shh.
No,
Except I keep mentioning it.
this
I'll
is
stop that.
this is the thing. It's like it's we talk about let's try things and step out of our comfort zone. That was stepping out of my comfort zone and going, okay, I don't know everything. Let me see what I do know, and will that work? And if it doesn't, I've got plan B. We've got a Zoom link, and we'll
Yeah.
go live Zoom. So it is getting less scared and letting the fear stop you less.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think when you do this work, before you do this work, the fear is the biggest thing. And
yeah,
so there's no thinking, there's just an emotion, and it's just like, oof. And then
yeah,
as I've gone on this journey, I've noticed the fear and then I become conscious of the thought. As
yeah,
soon as I can do that, I give myself a choice. And I can go, I've separated the voice from myself. Like, okay, thanks for that feedback.
yes,
Let's evaluate that.
yeah,
And I will either take it on advisement or just go, well, she'll be right, as you guys like to say here, and just go for it.
you're right back.
She'll be right. She'll be right, whatever. Or as we say in London, whatever, does my face look bothered? And we just carry on. That's a bit of a Catherine Tate reference. Yeah. And I think that's it, learning to really tune into that, because the unconscious mind, I feel like when the unconscious mind is those somatic signals in our body, whether that be tension, that emotion that we're feeling, are signals. They're not the end point. They are a moment to go, oh, interesting. What am I receiving right now?
Correct,
Which is
correct.
so strange, isn't it? Like, oh God, I'm terrified. Ooh, what's this? It does feel a bit strange. And if you've ever done NLP, you may have got a practitioner like myself or Sue who is going, yes, you're crying. This is great. And it's not evil. Honestly, we're like, yes, an emotion attached to a thought. We can work with this. And that's what it's about. It's about, aligning yourself by constantly checking in with these energies that within you and seeing whether there's something there that needs to be
Yeah,
surfaced, had a conversation with, learned from,
yeah,
integrated, so that those responses are not so overwhelming next time that you can hear the thought and you have a choice, and
yeah, yeah.
you can keep
And
growing.
that's right. And then, the thing that did bring you the emotion and tears no longer triggers you anymore, and it's not there,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
so the joy is about, oh yes, we've hit that point where now we can clear it. It's come up,
Yes.
we
Of
can clear
course.
it. And the joy is on the other side of that.
Yes, you can see the potential when you've done it so
Correct.
many times. You're like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
And Sue literally does have a tell. It's this. Because I was her client for many years, and I'd be like, why are you doing this? I'm sad. What is this? I can see on your face. Okay, I can see you're excited. I'm going to trust you, but I'm not excited right now.
You'd even say, I remember with your eyes closed, I know what you're doing. I can see you tapping your fingers, Sue.
Yeah, she has a tell. But now I practice it. I totally get it. So
Yeah,
I forgive you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting, right? Because where you've come to now and the being that you are now, when you look back, do you look at it and go, actually, I did a bloody awesome job with that business. That business was really great.
It was really brave, and I grew so much. I think I moved so fast through it. There wasn't much time to notice that either, and that's a good lesson too. I ran and I ran and I ran and I was proving myself constantly, but not ever allowing the time to receive it. But yes, my gosh, yes, there was a lot of big things that were going on, huge and identity shifts too. I was
Yes,
saying to Sue this morning that how Facebook does that 8 years ago today, like photo memories.
yes,
And if you follow me on socials, you forgive me because you've seen me talk about this, but a picture came up of me standing in a lecture theatre at Flinders. At the time, I was adjunct lecturer at Flinders University. I may even have been a topic coordinator and CEO of Edufolios, because, why just do one thing? And I had got hundreds of teachers from across South Australia to come to Flinders for a conference that I'd co-partnered with Microsoft for. And I looked at the slide that came up in the memory, and it was me teaching the general capability for ICT, not talking about this thing that was changing people and helping people and the impact it could have on their careers. No, because I had this like identity issue of, but these are the teachers and I want to be a teacher and I need to be a teacher here, and I look back at those moments and I just want to give myself a good hug and slow myself down and kind of go, babe, you brought 200 people into this lecture theatre. Flinders are very excited about all this stuff you're doing. I don't think it's a problem. Just like I
yes,
need to give myself permission. It's really interesting to see. So it's quite
yes,
fun when Facebook does that. So at the
yeah.
time, I thought I was being really strategic. I'll do this on the down low, and I'll hide my banner in the corner. It'd be great. And I'll wear the T-shirt. They'll get it. They'll get it.
You know what
What?
I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? To get me, get me. No, Selena, no, that is, you need to state your claim and you need to say, hey guys, thanks for coming. This is sponsored by Edufolios. Here's why. Every 5 minutes if necessary, whatever it takes, it's really interesting to watch that version of me who was
Yeah.
so aware of overthinking all the time about what other people thought and whether they would be pleased.
Yes,
It's very
yes.
interesting.
And I love, and this is the thing that when we pause to acknowledge ourselves, to celebrate, what we actually are achieving along the way, we realize that even though we have all of those things going, right? The stories that are running underneath, we still are achieving some amazing things that we don't even give ourselves
Credit.
permission to
Oh,
see and celebrate, right? So if
mm-hmm.
we can do that with all of the stories running,
Yes,
it's exhausting.
yes.
Imagine what we can do when we clear those stories running.
Of
And
course, lots.
yeah,
And less, but lots. How do I explain it? So, like, I think the energy that it used to take me to show up in those spaces, to create that environment where I felt safe from the thing that I was imagining, it's
yeah,
a lot of energy.
yeah, that's
And
right.
so when you're not doing that, that energy gets to go into things that serve you in a more strong way. So you're
Yeah,
doing less, but getting more from it because you can pull all that energy back and put it into things that are actually going to move the needle, if we want to use the business term, or just feel great. Like that's really
just
important
yeah,
too.
walk away and go, that was really
Woo,
good.
that was
Oh, I
fun.
enjoyed that.
Woo.
I think
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah,
another dance.
yeah. Which song shall we pick?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
So all of this growth along the way, and then you
Mm-hmm.
decided, okay, that's not for me. And that was a bit of a journey in itself, right? And
Yes.
then you've stepped into what you're doing now. So explain a little bit, if you can, for us, what it is that now you have created for
Mm.
the women
Yeah.
in the business community.
Well, it's anyone. It doesn't, you don't have to be a woman. You can be any person. I don't mind. I do work with a lot of women, but men are welcome too. And your pet cats. I don't care. Anyone really who wants support. I love working with business owners who have been feeling stuck. Is usually how they come. They're either confused and foggy and are like really frustrated because they can't get the thing they want next, is
Yeah.
usually a thing. Or they're realizing that they've invested lots and lots of money in things like systems and books and courses, but still things aren't moving. And the reality is, as a coach, I could give you the 8-step program to the most awesome social media you've ever seen, and you wouldn't use it if
Yeah.
you have a block about showing up on camera, speaking your truth. You're a perfectionist, so you're going to spend the next 6 months making the perfect post and never posting it. The reality is, inside our business, 80% of what goes on is inside of us. And the 20% is what most coaches like to talk about. I love to talk about both sides. So it's really important to me because of the journey I've gone on. I've lived that. I've just shared my story, right? I was doing all the systems, all the processes, reading all the books, taking all the advice, building this business that didn't feel like home, didn't light me up, and was going off the rails for me energetically. And I learned from that about this power of this mirror, right? And so the real secret that I love doing is sitting with a business owner, creating a goal for them about where they want to be, and then watching what's the gap, what's missing, or what it's not missing, but what do they think is missing, or what do they think the problem is. And then I use NLP timeline therapy to clear the emotions. That usually clears any fault, to clear any limiting beliefs. The way I am with people means that when we're talking about you stepping into the role of the guide, sometimes there's a moment there where they'll hear, oh, I don't know if that's true. That's when the imposter syndrome might come up, or they don't, or they'll have a moment of
Limiting
like,
beliefs or limiting decisions that come up,
yeah,
that we have these stories running. It's like,
yes,
I used to think, who do I think I am that I'm going to go and, do this or
yeah,
coach people or whatever those stories are. And that is why the clearing of those stories is so important, isn't it? Because
yeah,
then they can step into
yes.
their true authentic self and
And
identity.
they'll use it, right?
Yeah.
Because before I was doing my package as I was now, and I was doing it separately, someone would pay me thousands of dollars to do a story brand script, then pay somebody else thousands of dollars to make a website, and then not track how many visits they had, never talk about the website, never send anybody there. So that logic doesn't logic. And they've done all the things they're supposed to do, the website and the branding, but the reason they're not showing anyone, that's not in any of the books, is it? Not in any
Yeah.
of the business books. So I don't do that anymore. My package includes both. It has to, because after I've cleared the initial layer, then we get to the business, and then the business starts to keep talking, and we
Yeah.
keep listening. And as things come up, we clear them. So not only did my clients walk away with great marketing, great systems, but as they do that, they will come to me and go, oh, I'm noticing this, and I'll be great. And we're in a position where we can use any of the NLP techniques available to us to clear those, so
Yeah.
that when they make the story brand, they're happy to use the story brand. When they've got their email funnel, it's great, and they know what to do. The number is just a number. It doesn't mean anything about me. I'm not a failure because I got a 20% open rate, not a 30% open rate.
It's
It's great.
congruency, isn't it? It's
Yes.
then congruent with who they are. You can't also, the challenge to being congruent is to actually getting comfortable with yourself, right? So
Yes.
that's part of the
Yes.
journey.
You have to meet yourself, right? My job
Correct.
is to help you meet the version of you that you want to be, but you already are that person. So I
That's
help you
right.
find them and just be them. It's
Yeah.
so simple, right?
Yeah.
Because
I call it
alignment is,
remembering. I
yeah,
call it remembering. It's remembering
yes,
who we always were, and then things happen in life and we forget that truest essence of ourselves
yes,
until that's reignited and we're reminded. We clear the things that it's a bit like the Golden Buddha story, the Golden Buddha
yes, yes,
story.
yes, I do. Yeah, yeah.
So it's a bit like the Golden Buddha story that it was covered
Covered.
in clay and mud, and so that so it wouldn't be stolen, it would be protected. And then people forgot that it used to be a Golden Buddha, and villagers came and went until one day there was a crack, it cracked open, and somebody saw a glimmer of a light. and they went and explored it and pulled it apart, and there was the golden Buddha sitting there. In that muck, it had always been there, just
Yep.
protective covering had kept.
Yes.
So it's a little bit like that with us, when we crack that open and we remember, we take off the things that is our protective, coping mechanisms, and we begin to shine. Now, in your life, what would you say has been one of the challenges for you, whether it's been in your life, in your business, in leadership, when you were teaching? What has been one of your biggest challenges that has held you back?
One. Okay. Okay. I've been doing this work for a while. One of the biggest challenges, I think it's been different in different phases, in different stages, because it is a sort of onion. Shrek was right. There are multiple layers to the onion. Anyone who loves Shrek will know. I think the first one was the people pleasing. That was huge, and that was present in teaching as well. And I think the other thing that I've come to understand is this pattern I had of fusing my identity to my role. So I was cool. I was a musician. That was cool. Then I was a teacher. And as a teacher, I had to behave in this way. So parts of me were not allowed.
Yeah.
As a musician, parts of me were not allowed. As a teacher, parts of me were not allowed. And then I was a business owner. So then these parts are allowed, but not these parts, because that's constantly the people pleasing meant that I would try and create criteria based on what I was doing with myself. So my identity was very, very intertwined with my job, which is really silly in hindsight, and it was working for me. Like everything that our unconscious mind does is there for a reason, right? And it kept me in a place where I was succeeding, and I do that because I was succeeding as this version, not myself. Succeeding. I was a great teacher. I was rated outstanding, and everybody thought I was great. Everybody else thought I was great. I never really understood why. And then I did this business and everyone else thought that was great. I never really understood why, because I wasn't actually fully myself in any of those roles.
You weren't fully present, right?
I was so busy trying to be what I thought I needed to be. It wasn't safe for whatever reason to just be me. And I love the other day, one of my current clients said to me, normally when I meet business coaches, I'm like, okay, here comes the business coach. Now I've got to work out who they really are. She said, but I met you. And I'm like, oh no, that is who she is. That is just who she is. And that's really refreshing. Good. And I'm like, yay! Woo! I did my work. That's great. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. Phew. Because that I think was huge. A huge part of some programming somewhere that I've unpacked. Yeah.
Because we're not one dimensional. We're a lot of different things. I'm a mother. I was a daughter. I'm a wife. I'm a grandmother. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a friend. I can do the serious and the in-depth. I can also be fun and playful, and they're all parts of me, right?
Yes.
And all parts of me now show up. Whereas
yes.
a little bit like you, once upon a time, I was like, oh, that's not appropriate. That's not
well, the idea of doing a reel dressed as number one from Star Trek Brave New Worlds would have been terrifying to me in edufolios, but I did that last week to make a point about prime directives, because that is who I am. Yes, I do have a series of costumes, and yes, I do dress up and go to Comic-Con. And if you were shocked by that, I'm not sure why.
And how liberating is that? How liberating is it when we can step fully into all of who we are? And what I love about that too is when we then attract the people that are really our tribe, right? Whereas when we're trying to be different things, when we're chasing something that isn't fully us. And
that is so true in business, right? When you're sitting there going, I got no leads, but you won't put on your Star Trek outfit. I mean, seriously, you know what I mean? Like you need to show up as you, because
Yeah.
it's a great way to connect with your kind of people, like your customers, your clients. You want them to have the same values as you because it makes life easier, like you
And
want
your
to work with
brand
them.
is you. Your brand is
Yes,
you, right?
yes,
And so
yes.
if I rocked up with a Star Trek costume, that wouldn't be me authentically. Not that that wouldn't be fun, but it's not.
Challenge accepted. Sorry. Yeah.
Next video.
Yeah.
Uh, but that isn't my brand. That isn't me authentically. That's me trying to take on somebody else's identity. So it
Mm-hmm.
is really important that we get comfortable with ourselves, no matter
Yeah.
what we do, whether it's in business, whether it's in life, whether it's in leadership. Like it's all we're all one. Like when we stop fragmenting ourselves in that
Yes.
way, it is way, way more energizing. Life becomes more fun and more joyous when we can fully step into who we are.
Yes.
So that's challenges. What is
Okay.
what has been one of your biggest celebrations of in life, leadership, or business that you've gone, you know what, I'm so proud of myself. And sometimes it's the smaller things, right? It's not necessarily just the big things, but what has been a moment that you go, yep, I remember that moment and that was just awesome.
Oh, do you know what? There's been a few. I think some of my favorite moments in the edufolio as well, because I often talk about that negatively. So I'm going to shine some light on that.
Yay.
Yay, it deserves it. I worked hard. Like I had a baby when I started that, and one of the reasons I started that was because my brain needed something to do. Let's be honest. And my son was like 3 and I flew around the world doing something that was so scary. I went to Boston and I pitched to VCs and I was using all this language and it was terrifying and I did it anyway. And I learned so much and I've always been really proud of my ability to be brave, be courageous when I'm scared to do it
Yeah.
anyway. Because that is my major skill. I know that I'm here to put myself in situations that are really hard so that I can translate that and give that to people in a way that means something that will actually land with people. And
Yeah.
so my ability to do that, like I loved that. I was on the news, I was on stages, I've been on the radio. That I love all of that. Whereas other people are like, what? But like that's really fun, like winning competitions. And just, I could have gone, nah, I'm an English teacher. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to do that. Don't be silly. And instead I went, okay, if they, what, I'll apply. They'd probably say no. They didn't say no. And I'm like, okay, I'll do the state challenge. I probably won't win. Oh, I won. Okay, okay, okay. Like just, I think that's amazing. I think that's an amazingly brave way to live my life. Like
Yeah.
just say yes,
Yeah.
um, and see what happens. Because sometimes the universe well, always the universe knows better. Like it's like, don't take away the opportunities by telling yourself a story. Go find out. Because what's the worst that could happen, right? Like plan B, Zoom. I don't know. Like there's,
Yeah.
plan B, and everything is a blessing. Rejection is protection. Every lesson has been an absolute blessing. But I think I'm really proud of myself most for showing up and just going for it and being curious enough to see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that you've picked that because I know you haven't given yourself in the past a lot of celebratory moments around that. And that was a massive thing that you did, right?
Mhm.
And that applies in all areas of life. And it's not failure. So I didn't fail today with the Facebook Live. I learned that I probably need another piece of equipment that needs, software that
Mhm.
needs to allow me to go into Facebook now. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's fine. If that's what I want to do, then I'll just find out more about that. And so I've learned something. It's feedback, right? But
yeah.
like,
Yes,
okay, if that doesn't work, I'm going to try this. It,
yes.
it's the it's the curiosity and the open-mindedness of, oh, what's possible.
And that's exactly what a good entrepreneur does.
Yeah.
They understand that everything is is about to fail, and that failure is a great thing. Like first attempt in learning, we used to say as a teacher, first attempt in learning, fail. We
Yes.
love acronyms. Because one of the things that I've learned in businesses, it's easier sometimes to just create 50 different things. Oh, that didn't work last month. I'm going to do something completely different. But
Yeah.
that isn't how you learn. That's avoiding whatever was going on here and swapping
Yeah.
it for something different. Whereas
Yeah.
if you show up consistently and do the same thing, same launch sequences for 6 to 12 months, every time you get the data you need to tweak it a little bit more until one person showed up turns into 20 people showed up. One
Yeah.
sales call turns into 10,
Yeah.
5% close rate turns into, I don't know, 7% close rate,
Yeah.
because you're practicing and it's like having an engine and tuning it. So, if we are willing to stay in that moment and repeat the cycle, that's where we have to expect things to go wrong. It's the same thing as an NLP, right? When we're like, yay, it's exactly the same thing. Yay, no one turned up today. Great. What can I learn from that? No one feels that in the moment, but that attitude is how you notice and then how you learn and grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
We
think
have
it's important.
we have light today
Yes,
because somebody
kept going until it bloody
kept
worked.
going. That's right. Right.
And I bet they smashed a few globes. I bet it was actually quite therapeutic in the process, to be honest. I like to imagine him going, oh, for God's sake, smash. Oh, okay, maybe I'll try another one so I can
Okay,
smash it. I don't know.
let's try
Yeah.
it differently. But how long did that person work on that one thing to create the outcome that they had in their mind?
Yes.
Really, really solid. It was like a vivid picture in their mind, this concept, this idea, right? And they've done the back work to it. They put it to practice, right? That didn't work. Let's try again. Let's look again. It's the reason why we have so many things today is because somebody persevered with an idea and a concept that they had, that they knew
Yes.
deep down, this is the thing. And they didn't go off with the, next thing because this was a failure. I'm not good at this, right?
And if I don't get this right, then I'll have to try something else. I had a great business mentor who used to say to me, it takes about 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yes, because nobody sees all the
Nobody
things
sees
underneath,
that.
right? Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no,
We all
no.
we all like the bit at the top of the peak.
Yes.
It's what's
And I'll
going
be
on
like,
underneath. Yeah.
I might make my response is 20 years. I don't want to wait 20 years. Can't I have it now? Because I'm very impatient. But yes, it does take that time because and I'm not saying it would take you 20 years to get your funnel
No.
tweaked. That would be a bit of a issue we could discuss if you've been doing it for 20 years and we might have missed something. But like there is a process to that, and the willingness to feel that discomfort and do it anyway is the key to
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
it's leadership. It's
And
leadership, and
correct.
it's data, so it's important. Yeah.
It's no different to your learning. Recently in the past year and a bit, I started learning to make sourdough. Well, let me
Oh,
tell
yum.
you, my first few sourdoughs were a flop.
It's not
But,
easy.
but do you know how excited I was? Because I actually got past the stage of, oh, this is too hard. This is too hard. I'm not going to
Mm.
try it. And then my daughter started sending me pictures of her making her sourdough. And she's like, and this is
You're
my
like,
sourdough. And I'm like,
challenge accepted,
I'm like,
child. You
well,
will not best me.
what if I could do it? Right?
Yay.
What if I could do it?
Yeah.
What if it didn't take, in my mind, it was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. I'm like, but what if I did have time? What if I could do this?
Made time. Mm.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
my very
Yes.
first one that I made, I remember I baked it, I brought it out, it looked good, except all the baking paper had stuck to it, and it was like so stuck in it that you couldn't just even like cut the bottom because
Oh
it was
no,
like,
it's gone all crinkly in it. Oh,
yes,
weird.
right?
Well, that's it. That was
But you know what?
impressive.
But you know
You
what the
wouldn't rather
funny
do
thing
that
is?
again.
My students, who we had students at the time living with us, my students said, that's okay. We'll eat it. So they started and they're pulling the paper apart because they were, saying, but this part is good. The part without the paper is
Oh, that's so cute.
good.
I love that they
So
were
what
supporting you.
what I learned from that is, you know what? My first few loaves were not great. They really weren't. They were barely edible, like the first one had paper, and they weren't great. But I learned along the way, and I went, oh,
Yes.
okay, my sourdough starter needs, to rise more. I've let that rise too much before I bake it. Like all of that information. And I know this is not
Yes.
the principle. I know this is not business, but the
It
principle is
is.
the same in
Yeah,
business, in
it
life,
is. Yeah.
leading teams. It doesn't matter. It's that. Okay, what else can I tweak, or what didn't work, and how can I change that?
And I think it is the same because I think, like I say, a business is not sentient, so you can't blame it. But you may have been behaving. I wonder if that behavior sort of shows up everywhere or in other places in your life. It's just that you're not paying attention to that because it's so and so's fault, or because it was, you've gone into the old cause and effect in the wrong direction. And when the business does it, it's not the business's fault. And then you're like, oh, okay, you know. It's just like you could have blamed your oven. Need a new oven. Bloody
Yeah.
oven. Told you we need a new oven. Look at the spread. You know, but
I
the
need a
bad
new pot.
workman blames their tools. Like, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? So I find that a lot of my clients will tell me that we're working on their business, but we're not just working on their business because these blocks, these beliefs, whatever you want to call them, I don't even think they're blocks. It's to me like everything is a gift. Like if you're a perfectionist, that's a gift. Like you have an eye for detail that is really important. Somewhere along the lines, that eye for detail has gone into this realm of no longer serving me levels. And we still, that gift is still a gift. It's still who you are. But at some point, it's kind of got hyperdrived.
Yeah.
And we need to work out why and bring that back to our sort of more not medium, wherever it needs to be on the scale to be perfect for you, you know? Um, and
Because
I think
there is no perfection, right?
no
There is
perfection.
no such,
That's a good point.
like
Yeah, not perfect for you, but yeah.
it's very subjective. It's
Yes.
it's I always I call it the double-edged sword. So the thing that we're really great at can also be the thing that becomes our undoing, right?
Yes.
It's more about what's driving that
Yeah.
underneath that
Yeah, because like
you.
in my story, right, I was really good at people pleasing because I'm actually a really good empath. I can read a room, and that is part of what makes me a great coach because I can tune into you, I can hear you, I can channel things for you. That's all great, but when I'm using that to make myself shrink or to change how I show up, that's not so great. That's not so healthy for me.
And that
So it's
becomes
not that
awareness.
that's yeah, and that
Yeah.
still isn't a bad thing. It's actually part of who I am. We always want to be whole, but we want all the parts to be whole and in ecology and in alignment with us,
Yeah.
and parts of our unconscious mind may have turned up the dial on a few bits for whatever reason to protect us. And we need to go, actually, love, that happened when I was 46 now. Can we just great, thanks.
I can let that
And
one
we're
go
laughing,
then.
but yeah, that has happened to me many times. I've been in Sue's office going, I cannot believe I learned that when I was 4. Are you kidding me? My whole life. What? Because a 4-year-old said so. No, I don't think so. But it's true. So yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think we all have exactly what we need. And it is about that noticing, like noticing that the sourdough is not the problem, the oven is not the problem. There's no blame. It's just like a bunch of variables and it's a puzzle. Okay,
Data.
cool. What
Yeah.
what are all these variables, and what
Yeah.
if I line them up like this? What happens next? And so when you're not attached to it and you're not reading, because the unconscious mind likes to take things personally. It's important to it. It likes to do that. But we need to do that in a healthy way. Like if you're looking at your monthly revenue, and I say this a lot in my events that I run every month, I always tell the story of the 2 founders who both have 5K on their spreadsheet. And one person's like, wow, amazing. And the other one's like, holy crap, what happened? And it's the same number. The number is a number. It's the meaning that we give to the number, the
Correct.
languaging, the stories that we've attached to that number. That's the juicy bit. That's the interesting bit. That's the wisdom life experience dials that have gone too far one way or the other bit. That's the bit we can puzzle out.
Yeah,
So
definitely. It's
yeah.
the meaning we apply, right?
Mm,
What are we making this mean?
yes.
How is this a problem? Right?
Yeah.
I always
And
say,
is it really?
yeah. So how is this? Tell me, how is this a problem? Because,
Yes.
then we have to think, well, is it a problem?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And how is it a problem? Maybe it's something else that's coming up.
Yes, yes.
Selena, we're going to wrap up in a minute. It's been a
Okay.
beautiful discussion. Thank you so much. What is, like two pieces of wisdom, and because this is predominantly women's community, what is two um, pieces of wisdom that you can share with the women around, life or business? Because the reality is, whatever shows up in life shows in business, shows in our careers, right? What
Mhm.
are two pieces of wisdom that you wish you knew, that, the younger you knew, that you can share with the women here today?
I think one would be about regulation. And as women, most of the women I know have a habit of being very busy because we have to do so many things. And sometimes that's at the expense of ourself and our own regulation. And by that, I mean rest and permission to check out and just be you, not be mom, not be wife, not to be businesswoman, not to be whatever you're doing, you know, chair of the choir, whatever you're doing. No, just you, to really reconnect with who you are. Because in those quiet moments, those regulated moments, that's where your truth and your wisdom really shines.
Yeah.
Before we started this, I pulled a couple of cards and I got the Four of Swords, which is all about this, which is really interesting. It's all about like, it's actually vital to tune into the essence of you. And you do that in whatever way you find peace and solitude, going for a walk by yourself without the dog and the kid, just you, noticing. I love going for walks and noticing the birds flying or the insects, like little things, just
Yeah.
grounding yourself, because that is the best medicine and the best way to come back to yourself. Just take that first step. And even if you're on the journey as we are, I think you'd agree that taking time to do that takes you to the next level every time. It's really valuable, really important. That
Yeah.
would be the first and most important piece. And the second thing I think is that grace piece. Know that everything that happened, every behavior, every response that you've ever had, you were acting from a place of what you knew at the time, in the best intentions for that moment. And it's very easy to look back or even in the moment judge yourself. But this is a journey of learning and exploration. That's what life is all about. And so
Mm.
we have to expect, it's a good thing to look back and go, oh, like that means you've grown, and that is a
Correct.
celebration. And you need to grace in those moments, just as you would give grace to a child who's learning to walk and keeps falling over, or, like you have to give yourself grace to feel the discomfort, feel all the emotions in that, allow that, and just know that that is a beautiful part of the process, that no emotion is bad. They're all there for you, and to give yourself the grace to do that. I think that's,
Yeah.
I wish I'd had someone explain that to me when I was younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Very, very important. Both of those things, giving ourselves permission to just be
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Just for you. Yeah.
Nobody else needs to give us that permission, just giving it to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. And that's okay. No guilt. No, I've got to do this. This is like,
No.
oh, but I'm, and the other is grace, because the two do come together beautifully.
Yes, they do. Mm.
And, I love, you gave the example of a child walking, and I often say we do not we do not start walking straight after we're born. Like, we develop, we grow, we strengthen,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we attempt to walk. We start with crawling, and even
Yeah.
that is slow, and then we build our muscles, and then we go to the next thing. It is no different in any aspect of us
No.
in life, right? And
Of course.
and in life there is, then the extension of business, career, whatever we do,
Mm.
um, it is the same. So
Yes,
giving ourselves
absolutely.
that grace is beautiful. Thank you.
Mm. It's
Thank you.
important.
Yes,
Mm. You're
yes.
welcome.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to put your links um, in the video when I post it up in Zoom. I'm going to put the links in the comments so people can reach out and get in touch with you if they want to know more about you, more about what you do. They want to ask you some questions. I will put that in there, and so people can then have that opportunity. Again,
Beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. It's been awesome. I have loved your journey and your growth and watching all of the expansiveness of you. And we go way back many years, right?
I'm
So
very
we're
lucky.
connected in a different community. And I've
Yes,
just loved the whole journey. So thank you that
ditto.
you are part of my journey as well. I've
Yeah,
loved it. And I look forward to more conversations with you.
beautiful. Ditto. Thank you. And thank you, everybody who's watching. And please feel free to comment underneath. I will definitely reply. Can't help myself. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn.
And I think you've got a quiz in there. You've got a link to a quiz that I'm going to
I
put
do
in.
have a quiz.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.